Okay, so don't be seduced by false or temporary peace. Um, at some point, I do hope to be making videos that are a little more positive. I feel like I don't want to say these videos are doom and gloom, but they're all very heavy. But I do feel this is what the Lord wants me to do at this point, and so these are the videos that I'm making. So, everything is going how I thought it would go. Most people got the vaccine. Things are getting pretty much back to normal. Things start to feel like normal. Lots of places you don't have to wear a mask and all that different type of stuff. But I would expect that things will continue to get more normal. I mean, that would be my anticipation. More places you don't have to wear a mask, or I mean, some people live in states where it's already all completely open, but here in Hawaii, it's been gradually step by step. Same with California, I think same with New York, same with a lot of places. So what I would anticipate is that you would continue to see a greater and greater return to normal, which may cause you to think like everything's good, everything's fine, whoop, glad we got rid of that whole COVID thing. That was a close one, but I do still strongly believe, strongly feel that there is a bigger judgment on the horizon, and specifically it will be COVID related, primarily linked to the vaccine, and that will be coming in Q1 of next year. And I don't want to go into all the details, but basically, if you're inoculated against the spike protein, you're strongly protected, but you're narrowly protected. And because of how that programs your immune system, if a variant emerges that completely bypasses the vaccine-induced response, that will be a problem for the vaccinated much more than it will be for somebody who has innate immunity, i.e., just their natural biological response to the virus. Okay, so we're in this kind of window. To me, this is a window where God is watching the world. What are you guys going to do? You got your freedom back. You got your basketball games back. You got everything's reopening. What are you going to do? You're going to be better? You're going to be worse? You're going to come to me? You're going to fall away more? What are you going to do now that things are going back to normal? And although we are on the at the forefront and the beginning stages of a huge revival, which I would actually deem a restart, as I said in the previous video, it's going to take a while for that to really gain like overt, obvious steam. And by and large, the world is not going to have the proper response in this window, and then that is what will trigger the major judgment. First quarter of next year is what I believe, what I foresee, and then that's when the revival comes in strong, and that's when everything starts to really change. But so I hope you're still watching this because I know sometimes I say stuff in these videos that I've already said in other videos, and you may think I'm just going to be repeating the same stuff. But what I want to say is, before I came to Christ, when my life kind of felt like it was sort of closing in on itself, is the best way I could describe it. This is back in 2012. Without going into all the details, I was living somewhere and it was not a good situation. I had actually some serious concerns. I'm not just saying like, I don't want to go into the details, but it was not a good environment, okay? So at that time, I'm all into the new age, the occult, all that different type of stuff. And at that time, I'm thinking, hey, I'm a good guy. I just got to get out of this bad situation because I'm a good guy who ended up in a bad situation. Well, in God's eyes, I was not only a sinner, I was into witchcraft. I was into the occult. I was into the new age. I mean, you can read all about God's attitude towards witchcraft in the Bible, especially in the Old Testament, and that's pretty much up at the top of his hates it list. Okay, so here I am, some sort of occultist, warlock, witch, whatever, living in this bad situation. So when I got out of that situation, I'm like, whew, safe. I had that feeling, probably what a lot of people feel now. I had that feeling like, washed myself off of that situation. Yeah, everything's good now. I'm safe. Yeah, everything's good. Everything's all fine and dandy. And then here's what happened. So I was sitting in Hawaii Kai Marina. This is on Oahu. I'm sitting in my car at the Hawaii Kai Marina. I'm just sitting there, just basking in my freedom and drinking some tea. And a cop pulls up behind me. This is like maybe 9 o'clock at night or something like that. Cop pulls up behind me. I'm like, what does this guy want? Like, because this wasn't a weird place for a car to be parked. It wasn't, the place wasn't closed. Like, it's a marina. It's looking out on the water. I mean, people come there and they park. And so I'm like, what's this, cop, police officer, whatever. What's he pulling up behind me for? So then I'm sitting there and another cop car pulls up. And then 2, and then 3 more, and then 4 more, and then 5 more. And all of a sudden, there's like, I mean, literally, there was like 10 cop cars behind me. And I'm like, this isn't good. So officer comes up. I'm like, is there a problem, officer? And so this guy's serious. I mean, this wasn't just a, hey, let's check this guy out type thing. This guy's looking all in the car. And I'm like, what does this guy want? And so I'm like, did I do something? Are you looking for something? Like, what's going on? And he goes, well, you and your vehicle match a description for a bank robber and the vehicle that was used in the robbery. I'm like, I didn't rob a bank. And he's like, well, that's what he said. Said something like, well, that's what the guilty say. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's what the innocent say too. I mean, it's not like the innocent go, I robbed the bank, you found me. Like the innocent say the same thing as the guilty people, but the innocent people are innocent. So anyway, I kind of say that to him, and he's not done. Another officer comes over, they're looking out, and I'm just getting this weird vibe, like, man, like, I could, even in that moment, I could feel like I thought I just escaped something, and now it's like I'm right back into it. Now I'm in like this, because all it would take is whatever. I mean, say they got a witness in the car and they're like, oh yeah, I think that's the guy. Okay, well, I'm going to jail. Let's say the cop just doesn't like my attitude, or I say something that rubs him the wrong way, or he thinks I'm nervous or whatever. I could be going to jail. Like, I could feel all this in that moment. It was like, this could get really bad for like no reason, because like I did not rob a bank, and that was not whatever car maybe it was a Scion XB, I don't know, that's what I had at the time, but it wasn't my Scion XB. So the point is, I knew in that moment that I had not escaped. I had thought I had escaped, but I was still in whatever was happening that led me to that bad situation in the first place. Now it was like that same presence was on me. Now, at the time, I didn't know that, well, it's a combination of things. I mean, it's the hand of God. It's like the judgment of God. But then also, unbeknownst to me, I had opened myself up to all these, demonic forces, because I'm basically different forms of witchcraft. I mean, overt witchcraft to a degree, cloaked witchcraft. I was into all this stuff. So I had, again, unwittingly opened myself up to the principalities and the powers that are associated with, those endeavors. So it still took a couple months and this sort of looming darkness and sense of impending doom before I finally, said, okay, I got to read a Bible. That's a whole story unto itself, and that's a whole testimony. I already did the whole testimony. But the point is, I finally reached the point where I said, I got to check this God guy out. I got to check this Bible out. And as soon as I did that sense of impending doom, like I palpably felt it leave. And I knew, like, oh, I just found something that's true. I just found something that's like really, really, really true. Really, really, really real. So we're kind of in that stage where we kind of think we got out of that bad living situation, and now we think everything's good. And so we're gonna, metaphorically speaking, society is going to the Hawaii Kai Marina, and society is looking at the water and drinking some tea, and they're thinking everything's good. But what they don't know is there's a whole bunch of cops that are gonna be showing up. And unlike me, they're not just going to get, let go, because there will be warnings even within the midst of this peace. People will get warnings that they will largely reject. And then that is when the big judgment comes in. Because again, to draw back to my situation, I had a sense like, I don't know what I'm doing that's so wrong, but I can feel I'm on some type of really thin ice. I can feel impending doom, something wicked this way comes. Again, my whole life's going to implode. I could palpably feel it. And so I know, had I rejected that, had I said, that's stupid. That can't be. That's my imagination. I probably just need to go back, start going back to the Buddhist temple. I just needed this, I needed that. And if I had kept going the path I was going, I just know something really bad was coming. And so again, that's what we're in now. The world's thinking everything is good, everything's getting back to normal. Probably stock prices will rise, probably in the retail business, sales will boom. Probably a lot of that type of roaring 20s type, everyone's happy. There could be some type of euphoria, jubilee type thing that happens in these next few months. But there will be warnings too. And if people don't listen, and again, I think by and large people will not listen, then in comes the bigger judgment. So, enjoy this kind of normal, this return to normal. Enjoy it, because it's nice to get some semblance of normality back. But at the same time, just don't think all this stuff is done. If you've been pushing into God, keep pushing into Him. Push into Him more. Fast, pray, read the Bible, witness to people. All that different type of stuff. Seek God, seek God, seek God. Because whatever this next big thing that's coming is, COVID, I think, or again, pertaining to the vaccine, you're going to want to be walking with God like this. You are just going to want to be, if you're walking with God like this, you want to be walking with God like this. If you're walking with God like this already, then you want to be walking like this with God. Like you want to be as close to Him as possible, because you're going to want His peace. You're going to want His protection. You're going to want His guidance. You're going to want His access to the right people, resources, all that different type of stuff. So that's it. Walk with God, stick with God, hear from God, pray to God, fast for God, read scripture, do all that good stuff, because something big is on the horizon. That's it. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Aloha. God bless.